Hello, everyone. I'm Guido Greenbaum, and we've reached this new module in our journey, Module 28, the second to last module of the path we're traveling together. A journey that began with an idea to implement micro-credentials and today has become an institutional strategy. Up to now, we've designed, learned, reflected, and applied. But this module isn't about doing more, it's about scaling better because an isolated project can inspire, but a well designed system can transform an entire university. Scaling doesn't mean issuing more badges. Scaling means making verifiable learning part of the institution's DNA. It means that every degree program, every course, and every faculty understands that recognizing skills is just as important as teaching content. Today, in this module, you will learn how to move from a pilot to a sustainable, integrated, and visible module. The scaling process has three levels. The first is academic, extending micro-credentials to different faculties, continuing education programs, graduate studies, and outreach. The second is technological, connecting your system with institutional platforms, LMS, public catalogs, and verification systems. And the third, the most difficult, is cultural, getting the entire community to adopt a new way of recognizing learning. For this to work, structure and governance are needed. Each university should create a micro-credentials committee where academics, technical staff, and authorities come together. This committee defines the rules of the game, who validates, who issues, how credentials are approved, and how the quality and coherence of the entire system are ensured. Without governance, credentials become noise. With governance, they become reputation. Then comes academic scaling, integrating micro-credentials into the formal curriculum, allowing them to be recognized as credits, and designing stacking pathways, micro, meso, macro, degree. That is what universities around the world are doing. They start with continuing education, then move on to regular programs, and finally integrate them as part of their degree models. And that is the natural path, and you can follow it too. The next level is technological. It's no longer just about issuing a credential, but about building a network of trust. Integrate institutional systems, whichever LMS you have, with the issuing and verification platform. Publish an open catalog of credentials and ensure that all of them comply with standards like Open Badge 3.0, and in this way, interoperability is achieved and with it, global recognition. But the real challenge is the cultural level because success doesn't depend on technology, but on people. Scaling culturally means changing the conversation within the university. It means that teachers see the value in recognizing skills, that students expect that recognition, and that the authorities promote it as policy. A micro-credential not only validates knowledge, it validates effort, perseverance, and growth. And that changes everything in education. Once the system starts to grow, it needs to be communicated, because a credential is worth more when it is seen, verified, and valued. Share success stories on LinkedIn, show how students share their badges. Tell how companies are starting to recognize them. Communication turns an internal project into an external signal of innovation and positions your university as a regional leader. The time also comes to create partnerships. No university innovates alone. You can join university networks, Erasmus, or form alliances with peer universities that are also implementing micro-credentials. The future of academic recognition will be collaborative. Universities that share standards and validations will build ecosystems of mobility and employability without borders. And you can be part of that network starting now. Let's talk about indicators. Measuring is what differentiates an idea from a strategy. Start with simple metrics. How many credentials do you issue? How many are shared? How many are verified? Then add value indicators, percentage of graduates with badges, number of agreements with employers, reputational impact, return on investment. Sustainability depends on data, not perceptions. And when you start to see results, you'll notice something. It's not about issuing badges, but about creating a culture. A culture where continuous learning is recognized, where small achievements are visible, and where students feel proud of their progress. That is the legacy of this course, not a tool, but a way of thinking about knowledge. The institutional legacy is measured by what remains when the course ends, when micro-credentials stop being a project and become part of the university's identity, when teachers start designing their own badges, when students look forward to them, and when employers recognize them without explanation. That's when you know the system is mature. But there is also a personal legacy, because you were part of the group that not only learned the concept, but applied it, turning an idea into a plan and a plan into action. And that makes you a reference point, a leader who can support other teachers, deans, and teams in implementing their own micro-credentials. Look at everything you've accomplished. Today, you can precisely explain what a micro-credential is, how it is designed, how it is verified, how to integrate it into an LMS, and how to align it with international standards. That already puts you in the top 1% of institutions in Latin America that fully understand this model, and that knowledge doesn't end with you. It multiplies when you share it. That's why this module is called Legacy of the Program, because what we did together wasn't just a course, it was a foundational construction, a roadmap for the entire region. Every university that joins this movement brings the future of verifiable learning a little closer, where every achievement has evidence and every student can show who they are without needing to explain it. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for your time, your commitment, and your vision. We are getting ready for the final module, Module 29. Today marks a new chapter at your university because what you learned here will transform the way you teach, the way you recognize, and the way you inspire. Congratulations. Your institution is now part of the new generation of universities that recognize knowledge with evidence, transparency, and trust. Welcome to the future of recognition, and I look forward to seeing you in the next module, which is the last module of our course. Thank you very much.